Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you very much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take a quick look at Near Protocol, and just before we do, we usually look at Bitcoin, but I'm going to summarize it quite quickly here. Bitcoin's trending between 47,000, 48.5. Can't make up its mind. It shoots up, shoots down. Pretty standard stuff, but it's causing a bit of a retracement in a lot of coins that were picking up momentum in the last couple days because that immediate sell-off kind of just shakes a little bit of fear into the market, right? It's pretty standard though. Today being the 31st, try not to overthink it, right? It's pretty normal, pretty regular, I guess you could say. All right. Now, also note if you're new to the channel, for example, which some of you are, of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I just love teaching people how to trade, right? So I hope you learn a thing or two here today. I have a trading community with that designed specific purpose. I do this every single day for a living. I trade for a living, and it's just an awesome lifestyle. But I can tell you that it comes with, there's good responsibility too. You got to make sure that you are smart. And what I do is I share signals with all my community members too for every single trade that I take, so you know how to structure a trade. I've also got a trading academy rolling out next month, as a matter of fact, where you basically can learn every step of the way how to become a better trader. So all good stuff. I'm making sure that we help you find benefit at every turn, okay? So at this point, looking here at Near, what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick look at, of course, larger time frames, work our way down, look at the one-day chart first. We can see we're above both moving averages. Now, we took a swing trade signal, or sent one out rather, earlier in the month, and we've taken some significant profits from this. So we were able to effectively buy the dip and catch the retrace and the increase. But what's cool is we actually have a profit target of 1750. I think we're going to be able to hit that soon. So it's definitely ramping up, getting ready. I'll explain what I mean by that here, but we have good stuff on the moving averages. That's excellent news. We're also over 50 and under 70 on the RSI, and we don't have any potential slowing down here, so to speak, for the MACD. Now, of course, it's going to taper off. It happens normally, especially on the one day. But at this point, we've got a nice, decent amount of consolidation. In fact, we look at TD sequential, we can see we hit a 7, came back down, we got a reset, we're back to a 1. So the great thing about Bitcoin being Bitcoin recently is causing this, it didn't cause Near Protocol to go parabolic. Believe it or not, that's actually a good thing. So it can have a healthy increase on the way back up, stepping through these Fibonacci retracement levels. We can see a nice strong support 1341 and a potential resistance here forming at 1539. Okay, so adding to your position anywhere between 1340 and 1530, 1539 rather, that is a good case in point. So this $2 range the price is in right now is a good place to consider adding to your position, or consider maybe taking a new position, because I do think the likelihood of Near Protocol coming upwards of closer to $30 is very likely. I'll explain what I mean by that in a moment. Let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. Taking a look here, of course, we can see the 50-day simple moving average working its way up, holding as a strong support the entire time. Price is testing that right now, so we might want to kind of see how that responds first before jumping in, but the likelihood of that holding is, I would say, higher, just based on the fact that the 50 on the 4 hours is a pretty reliable indicator. The 200 is trailing behind. We've got RSI coming down to bounce off of 50. That is essentially, if you see 50 here on the RSI, that is basically 50 on the moving average. We see that happening with a lot of coins right now. It's kind of this unique phenomenon where the moving average averages out right where the relative strength that index does too. So it's causing a nice little support zone. So I would venture to guess here we shouldn't see the price come down much lower than 14.8. Again, pending Bitcoin doesn't go down to 46,000 or lower, right? Always got to throw that disclaimer out there because Bitcoin does control the market for the most part. But Near Protocol has been kind of defying those laws in a sense where it's increasing quite significantly and only retracing a little bit when Bitcoin does. So, good stuff there, but it's still, again, something you need to be aware of. Now, here is a potential negative or adverse thing. This is basically telling us we have a bearish divergence in the MACD. So this is not essentially a best case scenario. This doesn't look good in the sense that in the midterm, it tells us we might see a pullback or a reversal. So if we do lose that support level right here and dip under 50 on the RSI, then we're going to probably see the price trend back closer to about 1340. So there's a chance of that. So it's no guarantees, but those moving averages do typically work fairly strong, and we should expect that to bounce. Once again, depends on exhaustion. So let's go ahead and take a look at that here. On the 1 hour, we got up to a 2, consolidating. So for the most part, the price is strictly consolidated. But what we should see here is we should see the bounce right here again off 1475, because you can see this green dotted line here. That's basically where we hit a 9 on TD sequential. That was the highest point where we had that. Now that usually creates it as a support level later, right, when it comes back up. So now that we're above that, we can essentially consider that a support too. So it's a really nice sign here to see that we could have a support level right there at about 1475, kind of reiterating the support on the moving average as well. Okay, so again, another good positive indication. The only thing I don't love is that MACD divergence in the 4-hour chart, but that's pretty standard considering how hard the price has sold off in the last 3 hours. Big surprise, quick disclaimer, Bitcoin's done the same thing, right? Again, be aware of that. That's essentially what you want to be aware of, because you should never trade a coin without understanding Bitcoin first. Now, I'm jumping past Bitcoin. I kind of gave you a quick summary, but that's because I make a separate video regarding Bitcoin altogether, and I just think it's important to know that going forward. So just try to train yourself to look at Bitcoin before you jump into an altcoin. It's important to know that. Now, looking here at, so let's go ahead and go with TD sequential, and well, actually, we'll look at that next. Let's go with Ichimoku Cloud. First of all, you can see the conversion line is intersecting with the baseline. Not good. Price's action is below the actual cloud, or more so the price action. In other words, the lagging span is below the price action, is what I'm trying to say. And we're over the cloud, but we're traveling into it. So long story short here, we've only got one positive indication here of the fact that we could consider a long position. So in other words, the cloud is telling us we have a long position, we should have closed it already. In fact, we probably should have closed it about 10, 12 hours ago. But again, there's no guarantees here. However, the key takeaway is the price is traveling into the cloud. Oftentimes the cloud can work as a support level. So the price comes down, we could see it ride that out sideways for a little bit longer. But we also got to be real with ourselves here in the sense that we are at a 4 on this potential retracement, again, because the price actions come up pretty high. So there is a chance we could see the price continue to progress downwards. We might even see 5 to 7, 5 to 8 more hours worth of bearish divergence. So I just recommend, dollar cost averaging as the price comes down. If this is a coin you want to invest in, don't put all your eggs in the basket right now, because the likelihood of it bouncing, I feel, is higher than it is to go lower. But on the same accord, you don't want to gamble, right? We want to wait for confirmation. And the Ichimoku Cloud does not give us that confirmation, nor does the MACD. Moving averages are giving us some confirmation, but it's not much, right? I'd much rather wait on, I'd much rather understand where market exhaustion is at based on TD sequential and the Ichimoku Cloud than using all the other indicators combined. So to me, this is we're right in that middle point here. So that's why dollar cost averaging is the best fit, because you don't truly know if we're at the bottom yet. So maybe consider 2 entries. Add 50% to your position now and 50% when it comes lower if it were to. If it doesn't come lower, maybe consider adding to your position closer to resistance at 1530 or 1540, right? The key takeaway here is between 1340 and 1540 is a good value. And here, let me go ahead and explain what I mean by that here. Now, big picture, if we look at this, I was mentioning $30 is a rough estimate for the potential for the price increase, because you got to look at this here, and we'll just go all the way back. So just say December 4th, the worst day for Bitcoin. Bitcoin hasn't been higher since, right? You can acknowledge that, of course. Bitcoin's done terrible ever since the 4th. That's essentially its lowest point. Now, NEAR has done almost opposite. It's kind of effectively gone up for the most part with a very large candle wick here. So that's about almost a 200% increase, so 188. So 188% in roughly 1 month's time. Let's just say 1 month. If we were to get that same amount of continuation here, just say we break the key level resistance, we could see a 65 upwards of 100%, almost 100% gain, a 2x gain, if the price were to continue to double where its recent movement. In other words, in the last 3.5, 4 weeks, it's basically increased by a significant margin. If it goes that same distance, not necessarily a 2x, but it would essentially become that, then you're going to be seeing a price action somewhere in the range of $29. So is NEAR protocol a good investment right now if we can likely double your return? Yeah, that's a good chance. So again, once we break its all-time high, which honestly, it's kind of right here more so. So let me explain that too, actually, because I don't want to open up that can of worms without helping you know what I mean by that. First of all, when it comes to these candle wicks here, and I explained this in my trading academy, but this candle wick here was so large and it happened so quickly. In fact, I looked at it, it was like literally a 1 minute candle wick where it just jumped up and come right back down. While that's currently the high, that's relevant, right? We need to understand that that's the highest point that the price has gone here recently. That still doesn't take away from the fact that we have a strong resistance level, or a channel essentially, right here where the 1 day candlesticks have closed, okay? So if you can see that, there's basically a line right there at about 1630 as a rough estimate. That'll be a key level resistance. So we're gonna see a resistance zone right here in this range, okay? So just bear that in mind. That's something to understand. We could see some resistance when the price tries to travel through there, which is why I feel that it's probably going to take a little bit longer than a month to get to $29. Again, I'm more conservative. If you are more of an aggressive risk taker, apply your own theory to that, right? But the likelihood of it happening in the next 1 or 2 months is pretty high. I do think we could see Near Protocol as a 2x here soon. I hope you found benefit and understand what I mean by that. I know I threw a lot of information at you there. Maybe watch it a second time to get the full effect. But these are things that I do day in and day out, and I teach my members how to do this themselves, right? So if you would find benefit from that course, consider subscribing. I'm mentioning that because we are opening slots available, next month, essentially, basically tomorrow. So there's always limited slots per month, so it's recommended you might try to get in there sooner than later. But that Trading Academy is going to be awesome because it's going to really fill in the gaps for a lot of people, and it's the people have spoken, and I'm responding to, because I love being able to help my members become better. So thanks again for your time. Hope you have a good rest of your day. We'll see you in the next one. Take good care. Bye.